I thought I was finally being accepted by my mill when she hired me to be a part of the family business my husband was running all along, but turns out it was just a horrible trap. BC 6 months into the job, I'm getting sued by her for fraud with evidence, and hubby and I have no idea where it came from. Hi, guys. This might sound like a storyline from a telenovela, but believe me when I say that this incident has totally wrecked my life. I'm 32 and have been married to Jake, who's 34, for 5 years now. Our journey together has been marked by ups and downs, many of which can be traced back to my mother-in-law, Vivian. Vivian, now 58, has always been a commanding figure in Jake's life and, by extension, mine. So for some context, Jake grew up as an only child with Vivian raising him alone after his father passed away when he was just a toddler. The bond between them was undeniably close. I initially found it heartwarming, thinking how much she had done for him. But as our relationship progressed, I quickly realized that Vivian viewed me as someone who was taking Jake away from her, as though I had intruded on a relationship that had no room for a third person. Jake and I met during a design conference 6 years ago. We were from completely different worlds. He was already deep in the hospitality industry, managing luxury hotels under his mother's brand, while I was a self-made graphic designer freelancing for startups and local businesses. Despite the differences in our lives, the connection was instant. Jake admired my creativity, my independence, and the fact that I had carved my own path without leaning on anyone. I was drawn to his grounded nature and the way he carried a sense of responsibility that seemed almost too heavy for someone his age. Vivian's reaction to our relationship was complicated from the start. Initially, she was polite, though distant, as if assessing whether I fit into her world. Over time, that distance turned into a subtle coldness. I could feel the unspoken tension in every interaction with her. She never said anything outright, but her attitude towards me made it clear, I wasn't good enough for her son. I started to pretend that I didn't hear her snide comments because arguing with her was not worth it. I realized that she had built an empire on her own and seemed to expect the same level of perfection in every aspect of Jake's life, including his partner. It hurt, especially because I had always admired her strength and what she had accomplished. But I came to terms with the fact that winning her over might never happen. She was one of those women who had risen from nothing and made something incredible out of her life. After her husband's death, she worked tirelessly to build her hotel chain. From managing the smallest aspects to negotiating with top investors, she was a powerhouse, a woman who didn't flinch in the face of adversity. That was why, despite her obvious distaste for me, I couldn't bring myself to hate her. If anything, I admired her resilience. But no matter how much I respected her as a woman and businesswoman, it was clear she wasn't going to be the best mother-in-law for me. Despite Vivian's disapproval, Jake and I stood by each other. He always reassured me that his love for me was unwavering, even though it meant navigating the tricky waters of balancing our marriage and his close bond with his mother. Over time, I also came to accept that Vivian and I would never have the close, warm relationship I'd hoped for. Jake would stand up for me when needed, but I didn't want him to intervene much either. For the longest time, our lives stayed in this uneasy balance. I focused on my work as a graphic designer, pouring all my energy into my career, while Jake worked for the family business, and while I was proud of my achievements, designing websites, branding campaigns, and even starting to gather a few high-profile clients, I knew Jake was deeply involved in running the family business. He would always downplay his role, saying he was helping out when needed. But I sensed that there was more to his work than he let on. Then, about 7 months ago, everything changed. Out of the blue, Vivian invited us to dinner at her lavish penthouse. I was immediately suspicious, having grown used to tense, awkward evenings with her. The whole way there, I prepared myself mentally for another round of veiled insults and passive-aggressive remarks. I expected it to be one of those nights where I would walk out feeling like I didn't belong. But to my surprise, Vivian was uncharacteristically warm. She greeted me with a smile, complimented my outfit, and asked about my work with genuine interest. She even shared stories from Jake's childhood, and I found myself relaxing as the evening went on.